Preparing live stream. Here we go. Buffering.
Buffering.
Dialing in. Here we go. Redirecting to YouTube. We are live. I'm going to hit the record to the cloud.
You. Recording in progress.
Right on time, chaps. Welcome. Favorite day of the week. Happy Friday, everyone. If you're joining us live, welcome to the Friday Weekly Agents Blueprint, brought to you by the Alpha State of Mind. Put yourself on mute, whoever that is. Thanks for joining us. And we are super excited today because we've got a skilled cat that's going to be sharing with us his words of wisdom and experience. Somebody who has been in the industry for quite some time, but is still to this day always skilling up, sharpening, collaborating, and always willing to share. And, you know, he's seen every marketplace. He's been through business ownership in real estate. He's been a transactional agent and still is. He's an auctioneer by trade, absolutely. He's the master of the craft when it comes to workflow processes, building foundations, structure, scripts and dialogue. And he's our fellow brother, Marco Feligvari. Welcome to Friday, the Agents Weekly Blueprint by the Alpha State of Mind. Dive into what you're going to be sharing with the community and crowd today, mate.
Well, first things first, before we get started, gentlemen of the round table here at the Alpha State of Mind, welcome. How are we? I love seeing your faces every Friday.
Good to see you very much.
And
Feeling
also,
good,
Chris,
mate.
thank you so much for the introduction. Goosebumps, maybe something else, but we won't talk about that live, you know. But I love you. I want to kiss your face all the time. Yeah, well, so basically, like you said, Chris, I've spent a lot of time in real estate. It's getting to 12 years. I think you get less for murdering someone, I think.
Yeah, and I'll just add, yeah, you do these days, but I'll just add to that, man. Like, I know your journey, but for those that are maybe joining us, like, you came into the industry, you've worked in several models. You've been a franchise transactional agent, you've been the franchise principal and business owner, you've moved to independent models and brands as well, and now you're obviously powered by XP Realty in the cloud-based space and this incredible collaboration. So, mate, you've walked in the shoes of a lot of varying roles in this industry. So I'm really looking forward today, and I'll just remind everybody, it is a two-part series. So today, Marco is going to dive in and talk about like the foundations for structure and flow. And then next week, what are you going to be diving into next week as a little snippet teaser?
Yeah, so basically first things first, today is going to be the foundations of real estate. I've been talking to a lot of agents, and one of my greatest passions is passing on knowledge. And you know, like Bori, a bit of Tony as well, but there's a few other people that I've trained in my past and my time. And I said to Bori, if you commit your time, your effort, and your time with me, right, I will show you how to do real estate and make money. And what I loved about that is that I fulfilled on my promise, and Bori's fulfilled on his promise by being, you know, wealthy with family, wealthy in life. And that's, you know, at the end of the day, when we're all dead and gone, what do we pass on as a legacy? And that's my biggest passion. And that's my passion. That's what I love doing, what I do, and I love training. And yes, I've seen a lot in my career. And basically what I want to do is I want to pass on, kind of condense all that down, pass it on to all of you. And today is going to be the foundations. And talking to the agents, what they wanted to hear was, okay, let's get back to basics. Like, we've got all these kind of shiny lights and silver bullets that a lot of people that we're hearing right now, you know, going to let's do this and let's do that. And yes, it all kind of works, but what is the backbone of real estate? What is the foundations? And basically what it is, it's the numbers.
Yep.
And the discipline to those numbers, and the art behind real estate is the discipline and implementation of your numbers. And it's as simple as that. You can feather it up, or you can ham it up, whichever way you want to do. You can put, you know, Facebook here and marketing there and all those other bits and bobs and, you know, special remedies, but ultimately at the end of the day, it's the numbers. So that's what we're going to do today. And then for next week, what I'm going to show you is with the foundations, with the numbers, with the simple spreadsheets that I've got, you can then put that into a lovely presentation, which is a Trello board, which then automates it, makes it look a lot more sexier, and it kind of, then you can communicate within your actual team itself as well. So that's what we're doing, boys and girls.
That's awesome, mate. Two-part series, pumped for it. Cody, good morning. We're just looking at the live comments now, folks. If you've got any questions of Marco, please drop them in the comment section. We will answer them. Marco will dive into any questions or queries you've got. But
Absolutely, yeah,
mate, looking forward to the core foundations. Because mate, like I get a bit lapsy daisy. I'll be really honest with you with numbers. Like I know there's people that religiously look at their whiteboard and they've got a dashboard every day of what I've got under contract, what's unconditional, what's settling, what's in the pipeline. Like, how much GCI is sitting in the tank. So it's good for me, mate, because I've become a little bit relaxed in this numbers space. I mean, I do my tasks and I do my databasing and I do the calls, but I don't. My weakness, man, to be honest with you, is business planning and knowing the numbers. Now, I often get there, but I don't know how I got there, right? So I might write a certain GCI or,
but this is the great part that we're going to be talking about today, Chris, because I'm not even going to go that far. I'm going to keep this very basic. We're going to focus on the smallest numbers that really get the ball bouncing along your day. And let's just work from there. And then from all that bigger stuff, that's going to cascade anyway. From, your GCI is going to go up if you just do your door knocks. Your GCI is going to go up if you just do your daily phone calls.
I'm going to ask you this question, man.
Yeah.
Where did this all begin for you? Like, because I talk to a lot of agents and, they come in the industry, they don't know the numbers that you need to do, or they don't have a plan of how to achieve things. Like, where did it all start for you in understanding your numbers, knowing the daily numbers?
Well, I had to. When I first started real estate, and back in the day, as you know, Chris, when you're an agent, you get reverse directory, whole stack of numbers, right? Here's your phone, you got 3 months, otherwise you're fired.
Yeah. Yeah.
No training, no nothing like that. And then from there, because I'm always had pride for my work. I've always wanted to be the best at for me. And so I go, well, how do I get this thing happening? What is it? So I really started to do a lot of research, a lot of training. Training was the key, and try to do find out what the industry actually does best, or the agents that are doing the best, what are they doing to be so successful? And so what I've realized is that when you're starting off in real estate, yes, you can have 1 or 2 listings, right? And that's important. But once it gets really, really busy, if you don't have a discipline in following your numbers and your processes, you're going to get lost in that wilderness, and real estate's going to spit you out real quick.
Yeah. And we all, like, I experience it still to this day, mate. Like sometimes, we're tight on inventory, right? And you think, geez, I haven't listed something for 2-3 weeks. Like, where does all this land, right? And you can start to panic, you start to get a little bit nervous, you start to think, geez, have I still got this? But I just know that if you stick to the numbers daily, the end result will come regardless.
Absolutely.
Right?
And that's what we're doing today. We're going back to the process, baby. We're going back to basics. There's been so many times, and I'm criminal of this as well, where you go off and you get all excited, and you go up and down the roller coaster of real estate. You go ups and downs, and I'm the most amazing real estate agent ever. And then you forget the reason why how you got there, and then all of a sudden your numbers, and so you go up and down, up and down. So basically what I want to do is I want to go back to basics today. And any time that you're feeling lost, let's go back to basics. And that's what it is today. So the people that are watching today, any agents that potentially have any other agents that are coming into EXP or anything else, this would be a perfect training video just to get back to basics. The other thing is, with the Alpha State of Mind, what I'm offering is that these spreadsheets that I'm putting out there today are complimentary to you. Okay, you can have them. And for a small fee that we can talk about, I can then also mentor you throughout the spreadsheets for however long that you need to actually make it all kind of make sense and good for you. But I can guarantee, if you just follow these spreadsheets that I've got, I can guarantee you without a shadow of a doubt that you're going to be successful in real estate. Simple as that.
You raise a good point, mate, because you and I have come from traditional franchise days, right? And we're not here to compare models. And, there's merit in every model, whether it's a franchise, an independent, or cloud-based, right? They all have a place and space. But I know, like, in certain offices and franchises where you and I came from, like, we were ruthless back in the day. Like, you would get a call group in the office, like 7 a.m. to 10 a.m. prospecting, and you'd have 10 people in there, and it was just like boom, 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 making the calls, right? And that's how it was back then. And I think there's if you're inexperienced starting out, that could be a good environment for you. But I know there's more agents working from home than ever before, because we are online more so than ever before too, though. So this is how, if you're working from home, or even if you're going in an office environment and you're making all the calls, looking around and going, I'm the only one making it. I'm the only one doing this. But again, it's keeping you on track. It's keeping you on task.
Well,
it's the same with us working from home, man. Like you do those numbers, you look at the spreadsheet daily.
It's the other thing is, Chris, I think if as the Alpha Stat Mind group, and I think more and more that I'm in this group, is more and more that I have, like, I guess, a relationship with everyone that joins. If you are in a different office and you got no idea what's going on, if you are in a different office and they're not giving you the support, that's what we're here for. This is what we're giving it to you for complimentary, because we want to see you succeed, right? And this is the backbone of real estate. It's as simple as that. And you don't have to listen to some people that are telling you, because their whole interest is themselves and making money and the principles, right? I'm here and interested in you and thriving. And basically, what I'm going to show you here today is that if you're not getting the support, we are the support. We are the numbers. We're going to show you this.
It's about creating the environment, mate. And I know you get guys and girls that come to your home office, as they do mine, and they sit next to you and you make calls together, whether it's an anniversary call, a market report call, a recent sale call. Like, there's energy and flow that comes when you're doing with 2-3 of you. You can actually bounce off each other. So folks, just putting it out there, whether you're getting that in the office or not, if you want to do it with us, we're here. Reach out to us. We'll jump on the phones with you. We'll make calls with you and dial in.
Literally, your job is a well-paid telemarketer. That's your job. And then you go out there and make phone calls. And the only way a swordsman becomes great at sword fighting by being able to train with their sword. Our tongues are our swords. We're going to train it every single day with scripts and dialogues. It's as simple as that. If you're sitting there going, I don't know what I'm doing, how is a vendor or a client going to have any confidence in their property or in their future with you?
Yeah.
Spot on, bro. Spot on. What do they say? Sweat and practice so you don't bleed in battle. Right?
I believe in that so much. Like, I've got an auction, charity auction coming up today, and, it's going to be for 15 minutes. I've been practicing for, I think, about 4 or 5 hours now on that, just over and over and over again for 15 minutes of game time.
Yeah. You're ready, man. It's pumped. And just on that auction, how many people are going to be attending this auction? About 500 people. Yeah. Right. So you can't just roll up, unprepared and not scripted and ready to roll. And
I got to roll up there. I got to do some. I got a little bit of schmoozing, talking to the people, shaking hands, smiling, making them feel comfortable about me taking their money. Yeah.
You're prepped. You're ready to go. It's going to be awesome. But like you said, you got to sharpen your sword before you go to that auction of 500 plus people there in attendance, right, for a charitable event. So. But great exposure for you. You're walking it, you're talking it, you're doing it. So let's jump in, mate. Let's have a look at these numbers. Let's.
All right. So I guess when we're going back to basics, what are we thinking about? And I guess you really need to start off with, you got to understand that this is business, okay? All right. And whether you're working in a franchise model with a principal, it doesn't matter. This is still your business, right? And all you're doing with a franchise model is just giving more money from your business as an investment into your franchise model, and that's all it is, right? So when you're kind of looking at your business, okay, what does it all look like? So let's have a little share screen. Let's share that. Here we go. Hopefully we can all see that.
Oh, we can.
All right. So this is called your business, and this is called basically your prospecting plan and how the mechanics of your business actually work. Forget about, right now about, your vendors or anything like that. Let's talk about the numbers. And the numbers is making money, right? And let's say if you've been an agent that maybe, is kind of struggling a little bit, maybe drop the numbers. Let's go back to basic. Let's go at this stage here. Let's just go for this one here. This is your profit and loss. And I'm going to go, for this next financial year, gear yourself up and let's just do 13 sales. If you're doing above 30 sales, there's going to be an advanced course that I'll do about what happens then with assistants and VAs and all that kind of stuff. But let's go for any agent right now that's got an aspiration of just starting off or getting back to numbers. 13 sales is a fairly respectable number that you can potentially do in 1 year. And I think any agent right now that is between 15 and 20 sales a year is having a good time. They're making money. All right. And that's what it's all about here. So let's go. The number is 13. So let's go back to the prospecting plan. Now, I'm going to break this down. Ask any questions because it looks a little bit complex to start with. but I'll go through it step by step by step. And like I said, this spreadsheet here, if you do want to change it, I've already got the spreadsheet set up, so you can change the numbers, and it will show everything as well there for you as well.
Awesome.
Okay, so anyway, let's go back. Your goal is $70,000, which is currently right now, again, a respectable amount. It's an average income that most, probably 50% of the Australian population is making. So nothing to sneeze at. All right, so let's break it down. So right now, because I work for EXP, I've got approximately 75%, then it becomes 100%, but let's just throw that in there. But you can change that if you're 60%, whatever it might be, it changes everything for you, okay? So we've got that all there. Okay, so what that means is actually that at 70, so I'm getting 70 grand, around about, once the commission splits and all that kind of stuff, it's about 111,000, okay?
GCI is what you got to write, yeah?
GCI.
Gotcha.
All right. Again, ask me questions. I'm here. Let's break it down. I want you to understand these numbers. Right. So let's say, like in your area, if you're a starting off agent, okay, and you don't know this number, that's fine. You just go, you type in your RP data, you have a look at your suburb, find out the average price point in that suburb, right? And then you whack it in there. Okay. And at this stage here, I'll just put in there a 1.5% commission, because, that's, again, a respectable price point. Once you start getting better, we can change that to a different number as well. So that goes up, you see? So that's going to be your working progress. This is going to be your working spreadsheet that you're going to go through from year to year to year. And this is all you have to worry about. This is all you have to think and all you have to work with. So let's put that back to 1.5. Again, a respectable commission. Generally speaking, most agents are charging that. But generally speaking, that is a fairly standard commission. Some are a little bit higher, some are maybe a little bit less, but you don't want to probably go any less than that. All right. So what it spits out for you is that, okay, cool. So for you to achieve that, right, this number here and this number here, you need to sell this number here. Now, I've already kind of played the spreadsheet, so it's already kind of lining up with our profit and loss, which will come in very important a bit later. But let's go back to this. I don't want to confuse you. All right, so what does that mean per month? Let's break these numbers down. What does that mean per month? So in terms of sales, 1.21 sales a month that you have to be making to get to that at the 12-month period. Okay, and what does that look like in a week? That looks like around about 0.28. So these are very easy numbers. If you just break it down and think about it this way, because sometimes we're swimming around in real estate land and go, oh man, how many I need to do? What's going? If you just go, you know what, this week I just need to find 0.28 sales this week. That's all I need to find.
That's relationship numbers, really. You're just sort of working with clients.
And this is where it gets very interesting. So the other thing that I've done here is I've only put 58. So all these numbers are 58 weeks of the year. I've already put in those 4 weeks where you're going to be sick, holidaying, whatever you want to do. Okay. So that's already done and dusted. Now let's go down to, let's have a look at this situation here. So I've also broken it down into, like, if you're an auction agent, you can change that. If you're a private treaty agent, you can change that as subject to, what's his name, tender or best offers in. So I've broken that down into what that percentage is going to be and a success rate as well, because you're not going to sell everything. Okay. In better markets, you can change that, but with time that you're rolling, you'll kind of play with these numbers. You'll know what your numbers are slowly, because if you start here, you'll get good at this. So it will kind of spit out to you exactly what we need to get. So so to get this number here, okay, we need to list that number there. Make sense?
Makes a lot of sense.
Right.
Reverse engineering 101 right here.
101. That's all we're doing right now. Okay. And then in terms of your appraisal, and we're not talking listing presentation. Sorry, no, we're talking price updates, which I've got here. We're talking proper listing present. Now, this is a big thing for a lot of agents out there, right? Don't lie to yourself, right? You can lie to everyone else, but if you lie to your business, it's going to lie to you. Simple as that. Don't lie to yourself. What are you going in there for? Is it a price update, or is it actually a listing presentation where you have an opportunity to take the business?
Yep.
Okay, and only you know that. So this whole situation, please understand this business plan here that I'm putting together. At the end of the day, right, I'm not here trying to pump myself up to anyone else. This here is going to tell you the truth, right? And whether you tell it the truth back, it's going to result in a better business for you. So let's get back to, so let's say I've just put in a very lean number there, 50%. Some agents are much better. We've got, when you're a competent agent, you're probably jagging like 80%. Okay. So that number changes. I've already typed that in there for you. So everything's moving as you get better. And this is like, I like to play lots of PlayStation games, and this is the same thing. When you're upgrading your character, you're leveling up. Like in life, you only get to level up if you've done the work. You know what I'm saying?
Hey, mate, I love it. So just wanted to confirm, because you're going to share this template for everybody watching on the Alpha State of Mind group page.
Absolutely.
Just confirming the green fields is what you change. That's the editable numbers that
Correct.
you would be changing.
Correct.
Cool.
Yep. Great question.
And what I love, mate, is when you talk about listing presentations, just be really clear. That's not, hey, Chris, can you come in and give me a price update because I want to see how much equity I've got in my home and what I might do. That is, Marco, we're making a move in the next 0 to 3 months, 3 to 6 months, 6 to 9 months. We are making a move. So that's
and you've been making the phone calls, and you've been following the bouncing ball of that relationship. You're getting to that point now. Go, hey, we're about to make that move. We're getting 2 other agents in. You're the other agent. We're making a decision next week.
Cool.
That's a listing presentation.
Awesome.
All right. So as a price update, this is the mathematics, and unashamedly, I'm going to be letting you know that all this stuff that I've ripped off of other companies that I've worked for. And I've then just kind of customized and bent it towards my own needs, but it works. And yes, I've worked at other brands, and like real estate. You got to understand, real estate, there is no special skill. It's always been the same mechanics, just like a car. It runs with an engine. It runs with battery engines now, but it runs with mechanics that it does. Mechanics of real estate hasn't changed ever since it started. It's the same thing, okay? So let's get back to this. So pricing updates, if you do around about 200 price updates, you're going to get 38 opportunities approximately to have a listing presentation. Those are fair numbers. Gentlemen, would you agree?
Yep.
Absolutely.
And that's what I love, man. You're keeping these numbers super realistic, right? Because not all our viewers are selling $1 million in GCI annually, right? Like you said, man, this is, if you're just starting out, if you're a modest agent that's doing 10, 15, 20 deals a year, that's good. Like, depending on your structure too, though. But this applies not just to being a high performing agent that's on stage doing $1 million GCI plus. Not everyone wants to do that. So I like it that you're keeping these numbers super realistic.
I'm keeping it basically for the 80% agent, but like at the same time, with those green fields, if you are $1 million agents, you want to get back to basics, you want to plug in those numbers, it's still going to apply to you.
Yep.
Okay, and I'll show you how. So these are the numbers. Okay, let's work through the actual numbers themselves. So because I've already done the calculations for you, this stuff here, it already feeds in exactly how much phone calls that you will need to make per year. Phone calls that you'll need to make into your database per year, Magic 50s, which we'll touch on. This is a prospecting strategy that works all day long, because this is the other thing that I want to give you today. If you're struggling with ideas and prospecting, don't stress. We've got this under control today as well. I'm going to give you very simple prospecting strategies today that's going to work, and then from there you can build. Okay? I can't give you the numbers without giving you where to feed from, where to drink from. You know what I'm saying? So this is Magic 50s, door knocks, all that. So this is per year, okay? This is how much a 48 week period that you want to be doing to get to those numbers, to get to these numbers. We're reverse engineering, okay? So once I fill it out here and I show you, you can go from top to bottom, bottom to top, and then you can really start tweaking the numbers in your business, okay? And again, these green numbers here, if you're getting better success rates in your farm area, change them. Let's change it to 3%. Okay. Bang, it changes the numbers straight away. All right, let's go back to 2%.
Like I'm not really saying anything because I'm just absorbing all the information right now. And
I'm feeling like I'm getting smarter from this session. Like I feel like I'm getting I'm becoming more intelligent just watching this.
We're just bouncing along the ball. Very simple, bouncing along the ball. And if you just do this every day, and I'll show you, and I'll even spoon feed you what you need to do every day, every month, just so you can make sure that these numbers, all these spreadsheets that I got, all work together.
I just want to say that the 1,915 door knocks and calls is like the easiest thing to do. Like if you're doing 50 calls a day and then you're going out on the street and you're say door knocking 2 or 3 streets, you're going to get those numbers. That'll stack up real quick. You just got to be consistent.
Yeah,
Now,
man.
I'm gonna blow your mind even further, right? Now, we haven't talked about this section here. What does that all mean?
Oh,
So what does that all mean is that come hell or high water, if you make one of these calls, it's going to be like you're making $14 per call. So if you're struggling with the motivation of why am I making these phone calls, guess what? Every time you pick up that phone and dial, you're making $14.
no way.
Yep.
Every time that you're calling into your database and making that prospect, you see if you're struggling, why am I calling my pipeline today? I can't be bothered. Well, how would you like to pick up the phone and make $44?
True.
That blew my mind. Yes, that did blow my mind.
That's all. It's the way of thinking about it. I don't feel like making prospecting phone calls. Okay, well, you don't feel like making $44 a phone call. It's the easiest phone call you're going to make. It's the easiest $44 you're going to make. Whether they pick up or they don't, you're making $44. I mean, you know, there was a mentor of mine back in the day, and they said, Marco, let's think about it this way. If I gave you 250,000 this year, and all you got to do is go clean and mop, office or whatever it is, would you do it? Of course I would. So why wouldn't you make a phone call and make $44 per phone call?
Yeah. It's not hard work.
So whether they pick up
Genius.
or they don't, whether they pick up or they don't, it's not connects. It's not nothing. Whether they pick up, it's just the activity. You make $14, $44, $18, and you know, guess what? I've even, hold on a second, let's go back. I've even gone like this. Fine, you don't feel like doing, you know, farm areas, fine, but it has to equal 100%, and you could do it in either or section, but the numbers are going to change on how much you're going to make this number here.
And these numbers, I just want to say, is that it all works out like historically and consistently. If you follow the numbers, you will achieve these goals.
And these numbers, like let's get back to, you know, what we actually do as real estate. These numbers are actually human beings and people. Okay, every single number that you're looking there is a connection and a point. And let's get back to the real basics. If you're not in a door, if you're not talking to someone, if you're not on the phone, if you're not connecting to someone, making their lives different, changing their world, helping them through a real estate stage of their life, right? You're not making money. That's your job. So every single number that you've got there is a client. If you want to just get out of the numbers, this is how I like to think. Get out of them. I've got 109. What's that? I've got 38 people that want to change, and then I've got 13 people here this year. I'm going to change their lives.
You know what I love about this, Marco, is like, even for my own business, it's easy to feel lost in real estate when you don't really have a fundamental or foundation of what you're doing on a daily basis. But when you look at these numbers and you know what you're doing, especially the last part here with the percentages, you do have a fundamental of what you're doing in your own business, so you don't feel lost. You feel more accountable. So just for myself, I'm looking at this, I'm like, this will help me keep accountable to my own business. So I know my numbers, I know what I need to do, and I don't feel lost. Just
exactly, and that's what I'm here to give you. Like, you know how many companies and agents right now, I can guarantee you that I've spoken to, they rock into an office, they don't get any of this stuff. They just get told, make a phone call, do this, do that, because you know what, the principal doesn't care about you. He just wants to make money, and if you're not making money, you're out the door. Right. And the thing is, for me, as you know, Bori, and a few other people online as well, that I've always had a passion. I want to make you better. I want you to succeed. As long as these, you know, this is available for anyone, and this is so simple. Once you learn it, it's so simple. Like, you can be successful. Like, real estate's not that hard. You know, you get into real estate after an 8-week course. Not like, you know, if you're a doctor, you start struggling for 10 years, a lawyer, you know, 7 years. You know, this is some simple stuff, and you can earn some pretty good money and change people's lives as well.
What I really enjoy about this, mate, as we all know, activity creates opportunity, right? So the more you're in, you know, productive mode on the activity, the tasks ahead, you know, it's naturally going to spit a return back to you. But, you know, it's giving purpose and intent here, because I know so many agents, you know, what do I do today? Or if I'm calling somebody, what do I say? How do I add value? Well, if you haven't got something to call about and to add value, looking at the numbers, this call I'm about to make is worth $44.78 to me. That's your intent. That's your purpose. Now, obviously, if you do call, make sure you're calling for good reason, not the old free appraisal. Do you want to, you know?
We'll get to that. We'll get to those later. But yeah, at least picking up the phone.
Intent and purpose,
you sharpen that sword. And the other thing is, you know, I love the maths and the numbers, and this is why I love it, because it scratches that itch that I have, because it's just so simplistic and beautiful. Because you make 1,915 phone calls. Guess what? You're 1,915 phone calls better on the phones.
Yep.
But you're not going to get better just there going, you know what, spinning my wheels going, oh, I can do a silver bullet here, I can do that there, I can do this here, and not do anything.
Create that magical DL or do that beautiful post on my social media page that'll bring in all this opportunity. It's the mechanics, man. It all comes back to the mechanics.
In here, you know, when your first phone call, you're going to be probably 30% great at what you do. By the time that you get to your 1,000th phone call, you're probably at 75%. And again, I've got the numbers, so you can put it in there and calculate it.
Hey, Karen's just made a very good point. She goes, you can also say that by not making that call, it has costed you $44.78.
Yes,
Exactly
great
right.
point, Karen.
Yeah,
Great.
exactly right. And you're the only one that's going to have yourself to blame for that. And if you're not making the phone calls, you don't like it, get out and stop kidding yourself and go somewhere else.
Yep.
You know, go plant trees and I don't know.
No lawn.
We're here for a reason. Now, so I'm not going to touch upon this just yet, because this will all make sense very soon, right? And this has got to do with something else that I'll show you very soon. Now, in terms of marketing, okay, again, I promised you this. We're going to have prospecting strategies that are going to get your business rolling again. So let's go straight into our campaign planner. So what are we doing? How do we get these people? What are we juicing? What are we doing? Obviously, we can do your normal farm area stuff, which we can talk about, but I don't want to get into it too much because it's just the mechanics. You work your farm area, you work your Magic 50s, which we'll talk about, but you also work in your marketing. So what I've done here is I've also given you a bit of a planner, right? With a bit of a pricing strategy here as well. So let's drop some DLs, okay? Let's do some social media, and let's do some email database out to your database about your quarterly update. Bang. Right? Let's talk about the agent, which is myself, via DL in my farm area. Bang. Let's talk about selling stats in your farm area, or whichever way you can be in your database, whichever way, but you got to do the activity. Bang. Right? Preparing your home for profit. Great times to do it. And I've even got it to when you should do it. Okay? And how much it's going to cost you. And, you know, springtime. This is just your basic stuff, you know, like that you can do. You can start off right now. You can copy this. I can guarantee you, if you just stick to this, right, within 1 year, you'll be doing more than 13 sales. That's for sure. Chris can attest to this. Chris can attest to this because he's got, you know, he's been consistent with his delivery of marketing, because you've got to be marketing yourself, and the guy's killing it in Burton.
Yep.
I just want to say as well that when I was working as Marco's associate back in our traditional franchise model, we actually done a lot of this, and this is the reason why I was able to go to EXP and transition and, you know, get listings under me, because I was following these sort of activities. So
you're running a business.
They do work, guys. They do work. So absolutely, this is gold right now.
Now check this out. I'm going to just check this out very quickly. I'm going to go off the cuff right now. Right, we're going to go into here. We're going to go calendar. Right, I don't know what's going on in my calendar right now, but let's just go here. I've got a few things going on, but let's just go here. Okay, what am I going to do? Well, DLs have to be out on the 1st of February. Bang, just whack it in your calendar and you're done. Right, do it all. So you sit down. If you want to start your business planning, you take a week aside, you go through this, which I'll show you now. You go through it, you put it into your calendar, and you set it on automate, and you're off and running. Simple as that. All right. So we've also got, you know, shopping malls, which Timothy Mann does really well. Congratulations to him. He's an absolute firecracker of an agent. He does really well. I've noticed this at Christmas time. We're getting so many leads. Tony, you were there. You were seeing so many leads. You have it in January. You have it in certain times where it's your school holidays. And also do something, you know, to give back. You know, a Christmas gift for the you know, a Christmas present drive for the homeless, for children. It's always good to give back. And you can potentially, you know, obviously put it on your socials and all that kind of stuff. But this is something that you want to do to get yourself momentum and traction within your area, and people to know that you're there, you're marketing, you're off and going. And obviously you're going to do other things like just listed, just sold, great results. That's something completely different that we're not going to talk about because we don't have time for, but this is just to start off with if you have no listings whatsoever, right? And we've also got, this is social tiles, so social and emails, you got the Lunar New Year. So all these things are already planned out, ready to rock and roll. Not only that though, guys, I've also got some costings for you, right? So that's what it's going to cost you. Now, Chris, tell me the numbers, DLs, am I close for 11 drops in a year?
Pretty spot on, mate. Yeah, mine's 419 a month times by 12, and then it's 200 per letterbox. Yeah, it's pretty much spot on.
Yeah. So you got Christmas cards. If you want to send out some Christmas cards to your database, it's about $1,000. You want to get some pens, cool. I mean, this is just like some low numbers. Just, as an agent starting off, right? Forget about that you're working for an industry, a franchise. This is your business. You're investing in yourself. You got to brand yourself. You got to put some money into the game, right? You're not getting out of this for free. So around about 15, 16 grand, you got to put some skin in the game, all right? Burn the boats. Let's go, right? So business cards, you got to put, whether they pay for it or not, it's up to you. Other printing, shopping mall, which we talked about, charity drive, we talked about. Now, that's your costings for your marketing. Marketing costings done, all right? Now, we've summed up our numbers. We've summed up what we're doing for marketing. Let's talk about P&Ls because it's a business, profit and loss. What's your forecasted profit and loss situation right now? All right. So you can change these at different tiers, and it'll change this number here. So if you're an agent that you have different, because I know different companies have different strategies. So let's say you start off at, you're getting ripped off by 50%. It is what it is. You then moved it to like a 60% split, 75% split, which is what we start off in at EXP. And then I've also got the numbers here, which if you put in the numbers, so for example, I think Ray White would have like you're starting off at your normal one, and then it's like Icon A or whatever it is, a lead agent, and captain's lead. So you can put these numbers in and it changes all this here, but I'm not going to complicate that too much. Let's get down to business. And I always check my numbers. I love checking. So 13 and 8. So let's go back to that prospecting plan. Yep, it's 8 there. So that's a real data. It's cross-matching with each other. All right. So we've got 104. Let's cross-match that. 104. Where are we? There we go. Pretty close. That's good. Yep. Give or take. We're not going to get right down to numbers unless we get a little bit further down the track with an accountant and all that kind of stuff. But anyway, so this is, with EXP, this is how much I'm doing, blah, blah, blah. This is how much I'm losing, or investing, shall I say. And that's the final. Now, I've got a few other things. So phone is part and parcel of costings, marketing, settlement gifts, miscellaneous, operational tech stuff that you might need to pay for. Okay. And that's basically where your number is going to be. But bear in mind, if you're taking, good account of your numbers, you've got an accountant that'll be able to get you a little bit more back. Okay. So that's something that you got to be thinking about as well. You're running a business, you got to run an accountant, you got to run your numbers. All right. The tax department's always going to be there. Right. And so
they want their slice. They want their slice too.
Yeah.
But just on that, mate, like this is gold, right? Because I know there's some people on the call that maybe are starting out in the industry. And I know as a former business owner, man, when I had an agent start my business, I didn't build this out for them. I didn't give them this, right?
Yeah.
You could sit there if you're moving a model, whether it's your first year, your fifth year, you're changing business structure. You could sit there in December when it's a quiet period each and every year as you're gearing up for Christmas holidays, bit of downtime. You could build this out for the year ahead. So once it's in the spreadsheet, it goes into your diary. It's transferable. It's blocked out. It's non-negotiable. It's in there. It happens in the diary. Because as we know, as industry agents, mate, we live by the diary, don't we? Right? Yep. We live and die by the diary. What's in the diary that dictates what our day is, what happens in our week and our month. But I'll give you an example, man. I could have used this the other day, right? P&L is like a foreign language to so many industry agents. Like when I ask them, do you know your profit and loss position? And I almost get met with like deers in headlights. And I literally had this conversation the other day with an agent that's looking at us, right? They're like, I'm at 50%. I'm on a 50% split. And I said, yeah, sure. But is that pure 50% to you, or is there stuff that comes out of that? And they're like, I don't know. So we actually looked at the numbers. They're actually on 37% once we took off superannuation, printing, settlement, gifts, all these little deductions. So for them, they didn't actually even know that they're on 30. They thought psychologically I'm on 50% deal with the principal. When we worked everything out, we re-engineered the numbers backwards like this, 37%. Then there was the next thing, mate. They said, I get office leads. I said, okay, cool. How many do you get a year from the office? 10 or 15. I'm like, is it 10 or is it 15?
Yeah.
I don't actually know. So I said, can you bring up in your CRM, your settlement reports, right, of everything that's settled, and let's go through your transactions one by one and go, is that CRM? Is that BDA farm area? Is that a referral? Is that, office lead? There was 3 leads from the office that had actually listed and transacted.
Those 3 leads are 50% commission to the principal, and
correct.
You're only making, let's say, once you get the tax department involved, the whole lot, maybe $8,000 out of 3 leads.
Well, that's what I said to them. I said, okay, so there's actually 3 deals you've been paid on from office leads that came into over the last 12 months. Don't worry about the 10 or 15 that might have been handballed to you. It's actually 3 that you got paid on.
Now let's take the rest. Now let's take the rest of the listings that you got that you've been taxed on 50%, minus that against your office leads, and this is the exact amount of money that you're investing within your own company.
Right on, man. And that's why agents, if you're seeing this, watching this, P&L. If you don't have a P&L in your business,
it's a must. And I'm going to go. This is a perfect segue. I'm going to go into the final bit about P&L and what does it all mean? Why do we do it all? Okay, and what does it mean? So a healthy business, and Chris, you'll know percentage-wise, a healthy business needs to, like, if you're here profit margin-wise, if you're at 30%, you might as well give up. You go
to the system.
This is what P&L is all about. What are you doing? And am I doing it correctly? Do I need to rejig something? Now, a healthy profit margin here is between 70 to 80% profit. Like in a restaurant, we make a certain amount of profit so you can keep surviving in a restaurant, just like this business, right? It's the same thing. Now, anything below 70, you need to really tighten your straps and go, hey, hold on a second, what do I do? Do I need to pump up some numbers, get some more phone calls happening? Do I need to cut? Maybe I need to restructure my marketing, maybe restructure something, but you got to really kind of watch that. Now, once you're in this green zone, which is between 70 and 85%, then you go, okay, well, my business is running, efficiently and effectively, right? Now, but the thing is, what will happen is that businesses start to plateau when you keep it the same and the numbers go up here. So if once it starts getting closer to the 85% profit margin, right, you need to start going, okay, if I don't change anything and invest more in my business, I'm going to plateau.
Yep.
Okay, and I've got that note for you here, just in case you forget about it. I've got it there for you as well. Very important, because once you start getting some kitty in the bank, some money in the bank here, right? You go, hold on a second, I might invest in, because the thing is, when your business gets to a certain point of overfilling and you can't take any more, you've already messed up. What you should be doing, that you're 80% full, and you're like, hold on a second, I really need to reinvest in my business so I can get a bigger cut.
I like that. You've got substance, the real numbers. So if you need to renegotiate numbers, there they are. That doesn't hide or lie. No, you can go to that principal and say, mate, my margin's at 35% and I've done all this work. Here's the numbers. Like, something needs to change.
This business relationship's not only working for you.
Do we cut? That's right. Do we cut costs, which means I can market and prospect less, which means less business will come from it? Or is the structure actually not right? Knowing your numbers. And there's this cliche. Yeah, and there's this cliche.
Look, I'm bringing X amount. I'm getting stifled, and it's a very, very clear conversation with your principal. Going, look, I'm getting right now stifled in this office, in this environment. I'm doing all the work. You can see the numbers. I'm tracking my numbers, and I'm outgrowing your office unless you're going to give me more percentage, or otherwise I have to move on. And I'm not upset. You're not upset. So it's a business decision I've got to make.
Once industry agents realize, and look at their business like that. That's when that
every agent should look like this. This is your business. If you're not doing this, you're just poking around the dark.
Yeah.
You're on fire today with your little sayings. I love it. But it's so true, man. Like, there's this cliche saying in our industry, oh, you're a business within a business. Now, in some models, that's not the case. But, like, you have to treat this. This is your business that you're in control of. And as Marco said, you're just stabbing in the dark. If you do not have a P&L yourself, we'll get this template. I would actually get Marco on side and spend some bucks towards him and say, mate, coach me on this and let's get it right over the next 90 days.
30 within 3 months we can get this right, and then you start having that momentum, and then within 6 months you're off and running and you won't need me.
Yep.
All right, so so we're at the top of the hill now. We've got time frame, but we're at the top of the hill now. The ball's going to start rolling down, and it's all going to start tying itself together. Right. So I like to call this your weekly work rhythms. It's a rhythm, it's a momentum.
Just gets better and better and better.
So I've even got you can stab your name in there, you can put all the stuff in there, right? Now again, right, you need to have an ideal week, and those numbers that we just talked about, I've now put them into this spreadsheet to actually coincide to make sure you hit those numbers, right, with activity. And that activity, so you can put your targets in here on a daily basis, and you can go through there. But number one, the first thing I always do is look after myself. So I go my saunas, my exercising, my loved ones. I feed myself really well, good fuel for the food. It's no point waking up at 8:30 or 8:29 and then jumping into the office and going bang, like you're not ready. Like you need to have fuel ready, your mind's ready to go, you're ready to rock and roll. So whether it's 5 o'clock, whether it's 7:30, but you need to have personal time for yourself, right? And then we go straight into team meetings. All right, whether you're working by yourself and having your own meeting to yourself, or you've got going down, I'm trying to get this set up for you where you have a larger team, whether it's in a traditional model or you're running your own business. You got to have a meeting in the morning going, what's going on with it? I've got my body under control, my mind under control, what's going on with my business and my people, right? So let's go into your morning meetings. Hold on a second. Right. Urgent matter of business, eating the frog first, the big ugly frog, the vendor that hates you, the whole lot. Let's schedule that. We're going to take care of that. We're going to do that first, right? How's your mood today? What's going on? Like, how are you feeling? Like, are you ready for today? Like, do you need to kind of change up your day? Maybe you need to give yourself a break or whatever it might be. Maybe you're burnt out. Like, what are those meditational things when you meditate? It's like, how's my body feeling? How am I thinking? How's everything going? Right? Do I have a prospecting plan and strategy in place today that I'm ready to execute? Right? What's going on there? What's my commitment to my business today? Like, think like a leader, think like, a customer. Am I ready to give service? Let's just stop ourselves. Before we start a business today, let's stop ourselves and go, how am I going to conduct myself today in my business? Right? And then finally, what's my commitment to all my vendors today? What am I going to give to them to value add, to make them go to the next stage of their journey that they've entrusted me to do? And finally, what are the successful habits today that are going to make me and my business successful today? So, and not only this, I'm just putting this out there. You can kind of, push on that and make it bigger, whichever way. But this is something that you have to do on a daily basis and kind of catch yourself before you start your business. Now, on the weekly side of things, which I'll show you, this is just basically where we're going to get to. I'll tie that out all in very quickly. So here we go. Actually, I've got to change that around. I kind of messed that up, but I'll change those around. So it literally spells out what you got to do. Check your calendar. This is on Monday. So Monday is going to be your vendor and buyer day. Check your calendar, respond to all your emails, prepare for your appraisals, all that. This kind of sets you up. Now, what I would do would be, I'd put, if you really want to get strategized on this, I'd put that in here, right? So for example, let's go back to this here and let's go 9 o'clock admin. That's probably what I call, or this section here, right? I'll just do it very quickly. It's rough and ready, but you can put it in here. Let's go. Bang. And you're in. Look at that.
Yep.
You're off and running. And so if you do that in your calendar and you just put these in, what will happen is, like, the cool thing is, let's say we'll do prospecting as well. I'll just put that in, again, a very quick lesson, right? I'll put that in here, say here, right? And let's go there and let's do that. What happens is something blows up on the day and you can't actually do it because there's a meeting that pops up at 2. Fantastic. I'm going to move it here. But it still gets done. It still gets done.
Yep.
All
it's
right.
scheduled. It happens.
It happens. Now, this here, the other thing I did, there's a lot of people saying, oh, I'm not technical. I don't do digital. Fine. You copy. I've even thought about that. You copy and paste this, right? You go like this, copy, paste, click right clicker, print. That's your paper document right there for the day.
That's great.
Yep.
You can literally have it on a clipboard in the car. No excuse if you're a
No
paper
excuses,
person.
in your diary, whatever you want, it's
in
there
the diary
to use.
digitally. Yeah.
Now, so I've also got your prospecting strategies in there. I've also got like the other thing is, I mean, we can get into a lot of different, but like make sure you book in your appraisals at appraisal times. You know, like if you book your last appointment as an appraisal at 6 o'clock, and guarantee you're not going to drink beers at 5. Right? You're going to be so your last appointment, which is your last appraisal, do it at the last time frame, and then work backwards. Because then you know your last appointment at 5 o'clock, if you book, that's it. Guaranteed you're going home and not doing too much after that. So always try to fill out your day. All right. I always have a Wednesday half day off to give myself a break. Okay, because we work 6 days a week, and unfortunately, as a new agent, you're going to be working 6 days a week, right? But give yourself half day off, right? So in my prospecting day, like I went back to our business plan here. Let's go back to the business plan prospecting session. It also says very clearly here, 48 work weeks, only 3 days of prospecting a week. So you're not prospecting every day, because on Monday, Tuesday, you're working with your vendors and your buyers. That's prospecting anyway, but we're doing predominantly prospecting based activities on a Wednesday, Thursday, and a Friday. All right. So you take care of your vendors, your buyers, and then by Wednesday, you do your vendor reports, and then you're off and prospecting, and then you're doing your rest of the prospecting here, right? And I've also got here your open inspection times. If you got no opens, buddy, you got to be prospecting, right? And then finally, and I know we're coming up to the hour almost, but we've got all that stuff. So it literally spells it out for you what you should be doing. All right, finally, we've got on Sunday, yes, relax, but I always find wrap up your week. Okay, wrap up your week, wrap up your spreadsheet here. This is a spreadsheet that you would save. So what my recommendation would be, have a folder, right? And it's your business plan folder. You have these spreadsheets in there, but you also then have a folder, January 2025, February 2025. And each week that you do one of these, you save it in that folder, 2025, January, right? So you got 4, generally speaking, you'll have 4 of these spreadsheets here saved in January, for the reasons of, A, you can look back at what you did in the past, because a reflection of the past is going to be an indication of your future, right? And also these numbers are going to be important. So what I've said here, these numbers, what are the numbers that you've created? And this is where we go back to what I was saying before. Here we go. We put all these numbers in. So every day you finish your day, what'd you do? What'd you do? What'd you do? Let's go. Today I did 2 price updates. Bang, it's calculating already. I've already done the spreadsheet. Right? How many phone calls did I make? Phone calls. Don't worry about connects at this stage. I did 46 phone calls. The activity is more important than the actual definition.
Okay.
Right? Letterbox drops. I did 100 today, which is great. Right? And it's totaling up my week. Okay? And so you're getting these numbers. You're getting these numbers, right? And then from there, that will then go into here. So this is where you're kind of collecting the data, collecting the number, and then you're becoming accountable for why. Check this out. And again, I love simplicity. And when it all kind of works, it's very sexy, because from the bottom, you can go all the way up, and you should be here as your roadmap.
That's beautiful.
Okay. So if one final thing though, I'll just go, a lot of people called one final prospecting strategy that I want to talk to you about is Magic 50s. I think it's very important. I've got it all stretched out here for you as well. Because this is, yes, your pipeline list is also your money list. This is what I like to call it. You've got multiple money lists, but your pipeline list is what you have. Most people have CRMs for this, so I don't want to go into creating a pipeline for you guys and putting it in there. But your Magic 50s is also your money list. Okay, well, what I mean by that, let's say you're an agent, number one, let's say an agent and you have no listings. Fine. In your farm area, right? Treat it like an open inspection in your business, in your work rhythms, right? Cool, I don't have any open inspections. Great. This one's just up for the market. This one's just come up for the market. This one's come up for the market. This one's just come up to the marketplace. In my Magic 50s, I'll put those things in here. I'm going to go door knock them. Hey, guess what? The property just down the road from you has just been listed. I'm your agent. Here's my business card. Let me know if you need anything in real estate or if it's kind of conjured up any thoughts about real estate. Cool, right? If you can get reverse directory, we can get from RP data. You can get a spreadsheet with all the numbers. They're not going to be great. You get an ID for me as well. You call that stream. Bang, you've done it. Great. Okay, no problems at all. And then input the data that you get from that into your CRM, right? And create a list. You can do categorize or whatever it is. But when it's sold, you go back out there. Hey, guess what? This property's sold, and this is the price point. I'm just letting you know. The price point on the street has changed. So has yours. Would you like an update? Right. And then you also got the phone calls to make. How much data did you get from that? How much did that go into the pipeline? And what is that value of the pipeline? Guess what? You're already starting to generate some money.
Yep.
All right. Magic 50s. I tell you what, if you're a starting off agent, or if you're an agent that wants to get back to basics, it's an absolute killer. If you've got no listings and you're an up and coming, an agent that's, been in the game, you got no listing, I've got no listings. Well, guess what? Magic 50s. And also, if you just do the Magic 50s and get back to your actual consistent marketing, that's all you have to do. And you'll get your 13 sales. I can guarantee that if you follow it to the T, you'll have more than 13 sales. That's it, ladies and gentlemen. That's it. That's all I got for you today.
We've got some raving fans right now. There's a few people in the comments that like a copy of this spreadsheet.
Yeah, look, it's out there. It's I'll what I do is I'll put it together as a presentation folder. Okay.
And do you want to just unscreen share, brother?
And then download everything.
Do you want to just unscreen share so we can see
yes.
your beautiful face, nice and large on the screen? So you'll share that onto the Alpha State of Mind Facebook page today, tomorrow, or
today, definitely. I'll just after this phone call, I'll get it all, put it together in a Google Drive, and then basically you can go nuts. The other thing is I'll put in there just a little extra taste. I'll put in there scripts and dialogues as well. So if you're struggling with scripts and dialogues, buyer calls, vendor calls, Magic 50 phone calls, door knock calls as well.
Unreal, mate. Selflessly giving in abundance as always.
There's also other after that. There's also going to be one little special treat in there as well. You have a look.
Okay. And then next week, there's even more further special treats.
So next week, I'll give you a little taster. Just give you 2 seconds. Let me bring up my Trello board. I didn't want to do it today because I didn't want to kind of overcomplicate the scenario. I really want to get the foundations right first for everyone to understand where this could potentially go to. So I'll just quickly share my screen one more time.
Quick compliment for you, Marco, where Karen has said, Marco, this was absolute gold. Thank you so much.
So I'll share this very quickly with you. This is my Trello board. Okay, this is one that I had last week. Previous weeks. And I've got, for example, I've got this set up now where I've got my ideal week. I've got my understandings, my vendor communication, what my plan is, right? I'm out there working with intent. Okay. I'm hunting with intent. Look at that. Doing all the bits and bobs that we need to do during the week, prospecting. Not only that, but with that prospecting list, if I forget how to make phone calls, I've already got the scripts and dialogues there. Right? And ticking off what I'm supposed to be doing.
Mate,
so it's just a little...
For anybody who's not 2 years, 3 years in the industry, I know who I'd be aligning myself with. Because I don't know many principals out there that would actually give you that mud map, that blueprint, which is today's topic, obviously, the Agent's Weekly Blueprint, to start your business from day one. P&L, planning it out, marketing and prospecting initiatives through to your daily activity and tasks, tracking it, then transferring it onto that Trello board. Like that there, if you're an agent that is 0 to 2, 3 years, Marco's your guy. That's what
and then basically all we do is that you just need someone to keep you accountable. Where's your numbers this week? What's going on? Talk to me about your numbers. What happened? All right, cool. How are we going to get through our strengths and weaknesses for round 2? And keeping yourself accountable. I can guarantee you, it's not a mud map. That's a money map.
Yeah.
Yeah.
It is.
It is, mate.
And refining those scripts as well when you're making those calls, working out, your audience and how they're receiving the script, adjusting it, changing it, and just refining it.
Yeah. Once you make the phone calls, once you do the activity, this is just, when you go to the shopping mall and you look at the map and you go, you are here. That's what this is. You're here. From there, you can go anywhere else.
Exactly.
Love it. That's awesome. Mate, what a sensational session. You brought absolute fire. all the best with your charity auction today. You're going to knock it out the park. I can feel the vibration coming through.
I've got some
today,
scripts and dialogues ready to go.
The energy's there, brother. You're gonna kill it. So, folks, thanks for joining us on this Friday, the Agents Weekly Blueprint, proudly by the Alpha State of Mind. If you're already in the group chat, Marco will drop this content in there today to share it with you. If you know of any other fellow industry agents that are struggling in this space or just need help in collaborating with agents like all of us, make sure you share our group with them so they can get in there and get all the abundance that we're providing and collaborating among one another as fellow industry agents, because no one should suffer in silence. And as we say, boys, let's collaborate, not compete. It's on the back of the t-shirt, and that's the whole values behind what we do and why we do it. Whatever you do, have a stellar weekend, creating lots of success and abundance, and we look forward to seeing you next Friday, every Friday, 10 a.m. ACDT time, which is 10:30 a.m. Australian